Hey friends, so welcome to DBC Live. We are so excited that you have joined us tonight. And as you are joining in, please do. I feel like my head is just cut off. Let me try this. It is so like you only seeing part of my head. Okay. As you're joining in, please do tell us your name, where you're from, what you do. I am just not seeing the comments today. So someone comment in there and let us know you're at least here and make sure that we are truly live. But thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching this on the playback, no problem. You are still allowed to win a free book. Remember hey, Kristen, yay, it's working. You're allowed to win a free book too. We don't choose the winner until usually tomorrow or Saturday. So get your names over in that comment section for a chance to win a free book. We have a wonderful guest on the show tonight. We have Theresa Hoover Kathryn Finch. I'm super excited to have them. Yay!
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us tonight. They are going to be talking a little bit about a topic that I think will relate to any educator, but we will be talking from the angle of music at first. But please do know, if you're not a music educator, no worries. You will be able to take something from this free PD tonight. You didn't get a notification. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I noticed like nothing was really showing up at first. So thank you for letting us know that you're at least in here. At least we're live. It's happening. Maybe other people will start to join us, and I can maybe get Dave to. Actually, Dave's in the air. So, Kristen, maybe if you could repost it onto your page, that would be super helpful so some people could see it. So Katherine and Theresa, I'm going to let you start by introducing yourself a little bit better. They are the co-authors of our incredible book, Pass the Baton. It is a book for music educators, but it's so incredible. There's so many strategies, so many things that you could take and use in the classroom tomorrow. And so it's specifically written for music educators, but I feel like there's a lot any educator can gain from it. However, if you are a music educator or know one, this is definitely one of a kind book. I've not seen a music education book out there like this one, and I truly love it. And so I highly recommend either passing it along to the music educators in your system or else encouraging them to go check it out. You can read the first few chapters for free with the link above or below this video. So now that I've taken care of all the housekeeping, make sure you get those comments over in the comment section. And Theresa and Katherine, please do take a moment to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do. We'll talk a little bit about Pass the Baton in a minute, but Katherine, we'll start first with you.
Sure. Hi, I am Katherine Finch. I am a K-5 general music teacher in northern suburbs of Chicago. So it's about my 20th year plus a little of teaching. And yeah, I guess that's me.
Awesome. I'm Theresa Hoover. Let's see. I taught music, mostly middle school and elementary school band for about 19 years. Currently not in the classroom, but working more as a music education specialist and technology integration. So the moment I'm actually in Arizona.
Awesome. Arizona. Yeah, she's traveling around and working remotely. So that has been so fun to follow your journey of pictures online and stuff. Super exciting. Yes, it is a cool book idea. So while Kristen said that, why don't we just lead right into telling a little bit about the book? Someone's going to win the book. So remember, if you win the book and you're not, and so Kristen, she's a science teacher, she wins the book and she doesn't really feel like it necessarily applies to her, or she feels like her music educator that's in her building will get more out of it. Feel free to gift that. Christmas is right around the corner. So if you guys give Christmas gifts, or if you just feel like giving a gift because you love people, this would be a great one to give to your music educators. Oh, Lisa's in Arizona too. Neighbors. So Katherine, we'll start with you again. And how about you tell us a little bit about why you and Theresa wrote the book, and we'll give you both a chance to share, and what you hope the readers will gain from this book.
Yeah, so we We met actually on iMOOC, and just met online, and it was like, ooh, somebody else who teaches music, and so through the innovator's mindset, we just kind of connected, and I think we had that same conversation, Tara, that there isn't a book like this out there, and we gained so much from talking with each other and pushing each other's thinking that it was like, there needs to be this book out there. So it just kind of turned into like, well, let's do it. And so it really kind of outlines, the idea of going from engagement to empowerment and how we can empower our kids to own their own learning. That my goal is that when they're 30, right, they don't need Mrs. Finch to have music in their life. I want them to be independent musicians, confident musicians that, are consumers of music, that have that confidence to ask questions and find the answers and be a self-sufficient musician. And I think with empowering them and giving them some ownership in the classroom, that's what you're going to set them up for success that way, that they don't need you, that they can figure those things out themselves. So what we outline in the book, right, are some qualities of what a empowered music student looks like for all different areas of music. Like music sounds like it's just one thing, but if you think about it, there's K-12 students, there's band, orchestra, chorus, general music. There's so many different, guitar class. There's so many different parts of music. And we've tried to include everything to kind of give everybody a chance to see how their classroom could look like that.
So would you like to add on, Theresa, anything that...
Yeah, I mean, Katherine said a lot, which was awesome. I mean, like you both said, we wrote the book we wanted to read.
Yes.
I
think that's often the case, like when you start a job, you become the manager, that you wanted to have, right? And I think that's so incredible. If something's not out there, this is a great message for anybody listening. If there's something not out there that you're just like, when is somebody going to create this? Create it. They probably haven't thought about it. And so you create it. You get out there, share your story, do that thing. And I think that's what these ladies have done with this book. It's incredible. It's amazing. And really, if you think about it, music is everywhere. We may not think that we are music educators per se, but we embrace music in life all the time, and I think it's really important that we value the arts. It's really important. It's something super important to me for sure. As a piano player, someone who cherishes that type of, really all the arts. I love spending my time in art museums. We have a really amazing art museum in Kansas City, and I find myself just hanging out there for hours by myself. I'm like, just tell my husband, hey, Deuces, I need some self-care. And I get so much inspiration to write there. So let's not forget to value the importance of the arts. And music is right up there. Yeah. So these ladies have come on here not to listen to me talk. And I know you guys haven't come to listen to me talk either. So they have come to share with us some strategies that they use in the classroom or they use with their students to help empower them, to help give them a voice and make them feel valued, appreciated, and a part of the process. And I am just going to turn the floor over and let you two take it on. So whoever wants to go first, I won't order you around any longer. Feel free to go and share with us something that we can take tonight, tuck it in our back pockets, and hopefully take it into whatever we're doing in the learning setting, whatever your learning setting looks like out there. Oh, awesome, Lisa. Thank you. I think every music teacher in the world will love this book. I'm really not kidding. I read it and I'm not a music educator and I loved it. So just FYI. Okay. But thank you, Lisa. We love you. All right, go ahead, ladies.
So something we thought was like timely right now, being beginning of November, was to talk about the idea of planning school events. And like in the music world, right, that would be a concert. A lot of us have a winter concert or some kind of winter program, winter event coming up. And we wanted to be able to share some ideas with how you can not just plan this event for your students, but really plan it with your students, because that's how they're going to be able to take ownership of it and the experience becomes even more meaningful.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about, what does that mean? So when you're planning with students instead of four, we kind of come down to like there's about 3 steps that are like the main ways to kind of get started. Because I think at first it feels a little scary. It's hard to kind of let go of that some of that control. And for us as musicians or music teachers, people are going to see this product, so there's just that added stress or whatever that is. But we've kind of, when you think through it, is just find the event, right? Pick something that either maybe there's a change in the event used to be in the fall, now it's in the winter, or it's moved to the spring. So there's something's new about it anyways, or it's a new group of students, so they don't have any expectations about it. And so pick the event, and then kind of just sit and think about what are your must-haves, your absolutes, the admin expectations you have, or the parent expectations, the learning standards, like what are the must-haves, the meat that has to happen in this event, and come up with those. And then thirdly, then just, sit down with the kids, model, or the group that's going to, the stakeholders, and just say, we're going to try this, a new thing with the event. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I know with planning with you all, we're going to have an awesome event, and just kind of take that little risk and try it. And there's so many wonderful things that can happen when you let go a little bit of that control and plan with people.
Right. Yes. And as you're thinking, when you're thinking about your must-haves, think like big picture must-haves. So as a band director, my must-haves were, you have to play your instrument. There must be demonstration of instrument playing, something like that. And when you really think about those must-haves, there's probably not as many as you would think. Like, do there have to be 5 pieces of music? No, like that's not really a necessity. But you need to be having a demonstration of learning in front of an audience. Okay, that's a good must-have. So really just think about what needs to be there. Sometimes there are things that you think are must-haves, like, oh, but it's always been this way. But when you go through that thought process of like, why? Why have we always done it this way? And is it really necessary to continue that? And maybe you have the conversations with the students and they do want to continue that and they do have good reason. Well, then they've made that choice. It's not you saying, we have to perform this song because we did it the last 5 years or whatever the case is.
I love that. I wonder too, so I can totally see how that educator would want to have a couple of must-haves, like learning definitely has to take place.
Right.
So what are we even doing?
Yeah.
But I wonder if the students like came up with 2 must-haves. Like, so say you had 2 must-haves. I wonder if together they brainstorm 2 must-haves for them too.
That's awesome.
And that would be kind of fun because, I mean, you could guide them, right? But I mean, I think consolidating all their brilliant ideas into 2 must-haves that no matter what we do from this point forward, I have 2 must-haves, you have 2 must-haves, and then everything else we're going to collaborate and do together. That might be kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
So for like an example, I had my middle school band concert, their winter concert. It was 2019, so pre-pandemic, and it was our first concert in a brand new school. So being the first concert, I had picked out all the music. I didn't know the kids. There were just a lot of reasons I picked out the music, right? And that was fine. So those were my must-haves. I set the date. I reserved the auditorium. I did kind of those big things, again, being a first performance.
Yeah.
And then from there, I turned a lot of the rest of it over to the students. So I had the music picked out, but talked to them about what order should we play this in? Which piece do you think is going to be the best opener? And I kind of had my idea, like when I program, I think that way. But they actually had a better argument for why we should do that piece last. So we did it last. And that kind of happened. The kids took charge they made posters. They designed the front of the cover for the concert program. They did like advertising. They wrote the script that was like read to introduce each piece of music. They took care of that. Like they wrote it, they read it. And it was great because again, they were taking the ownership. But then if you also think about the fact that like, it took some things off my plate. Decision fatigue is real. So it was one less thing that I really had to worry about. I knew the kids were going to do it, and they were really excited about it. So, that's just an example of a middle school band that we did that again, first concert, brand new school, and we were able to have that kind of opportunity. And then as soon as you're going to say, well, those are middle school kids, Catherine's going to tell you why that's not just a middle school thing.
Yeah, I love using my kindergarten students as an example, because I think sometimes we think, well, the littles can't. That's really, how could the littles do that? But I had an opportunity. We usually have a winter sing for our kindergartners, and as a music staff, we wanted to move it to the spring so that we could get to know our new 5-year-olds and not rush to a program, and then just really focus on learning and getting to know them and having them feel comfortable in our classroom. So we moved it to the spring, and then we had this new opportunity of like, wait, we could have we could make it more intimate and have it in our classrooms, because they are 5, and so they're in our classroom. Well, let's invite the parents in. So they're starting to kind of form some must-haves of like, all right, we've got a half hour. We're going to do it class by class, and then I sat down with my kindergartners, and of course there's learning standards, right? So then I sat down with my kindergartners and said, and I guess beforehand I made a keynote or a slide deck that was just like, a slide for the kids' class name, and then in each slide, my standards that I wanted to make sure that we were showing for learning. So steady beat, showing I can use a singing voice, all those things, right? They're on different slides. But then I just brainstormed with the kindergartners. What have we done in music class that we want to show our parents? And we made this whole long list of stuff. And most, if you think like a kindergarten, they're going to tell you what we did last week and today. And, but when I would sometimes say, do you remember, I remember you had so much fun with when we pulled out this book and we played the instrument. Oh yeah. Should we put it on the list or should we not? And sometimes they said not, sometimes they said, oh my goodness, I forgot. Yes, yes, yes. So, we brainstormed all that. And then on another day, I put them on, whatever that concept was for that activity, I put those on those pages. And then when we got together the next time, it was like, all right, these are all our using our singing voice activities. Which one are we going to do? And they voted. And what was so nice is like each kindergarten class had such a different performance, because the performance played to their own strengths and what their class really loved. And, it was awesome. It was just, and they were so much more involved and excited, because they got to pick so much of the program and the order and all that. So they can do it too, right?
Yeah. I love that. I love having the ownership, and like Theresa said, it helps us too. Because if we know that the people that we're serving are excited about what we're about to be doing, well, they're getting behind us, and if it doesn't matter what age they are, like the parents, like you said earlier, the stakeholders, whoever that is in your learning setting, it's so, yes. Lisa said, playing to their own strengths. They love it. And you know what this reminds me of, for anybody who's joined us, and I see a few of you in here that were in the live I'm about to talk about, is when Theresa was talking about groups of her students just creating different pieces. Some created the cover, and then they had others that were creating posters and promotional items and things. This reminds me of the PD that we had on Thursday night, a couple of Thursday nights ago, with Micah Shippey, when he was talking about the mycreativetype.com creative test that you can take on Adobe. So say you had those groups, I'll drop that link over in the comment section too. But if you had those groups of the older students and you wanted to kind of give them roles and kind of see like what is their creative type and figure out like how to place them so they can have a part in some of this creation of promoting and designing and getting ready for, this is a project, right? They are creating a performance. They're preparing for a performance. Well, all the creative types were like the artist, the thinker, the adventurer, the maker, the visionary, the innovator, the dreamer, the producer. You need all those people. And so finding out like what is their creative type, of that little survey could be really helpful for kind of getting them in their lane and helping them to really feel like they have a part. So I love it when I know you guys might not have been a part of that PD, but I love it when all these PDs kind of tie up together and I can kind of relate them. So don't forget about that. So if you do have these groups of older students, I don't know that I would necessarily do that with kindergarten. I would probably do what Katherine mentioned earlier. That makes a little more sense, is to have them help you brainstorm. But with the older students, kind of getting them in their lane, because then they really like that's their strength, right? They're really playing to their strength to help create and make it fun.
I asked
you remember, Kristen, awesome. I'm not just talking off the top of my head.
When I was asking the kids who wanted to help with the poster design and like the cover of the program, things like that, some of their eyes just lit up because it was like, oh, this is my thing. This is what I do. And then, other ones, when you would say, okay, who wants to announce this song? Same thing. They love speaking in front of a crowd. They like that. So they were able to, like you said, play to those strengths. We were all musicians and we were all sharing, our musical voices that way, but to allow the kids to showcase some other things that were important to them. I think
it will definitely work with third grade, Bradley.
Sure.
Any of the stuff we talked about, the creative type survey, but also what these two ladies are talking about, having a piece. I mean, they just talked about how to use it kindergarten and high school, like totally different.
And I did similar things with fourth grade, just kind of brainstorming how we would do performances, and it looks different, right? I'm picturing Katherine like sitting on the floor with her little kindergartners, whereas, in the middle school classroom, that's not quite how we do it. Sometimes we sat on the floor, but it looks different depending on what students are in front of you. But then at the same time, like that exact phrase, it's going to be different for every group in front of you. Like Katherine said, each kindergarten class was different. And I think that's so important. We forget that sometimes. Like we try to plan things for the kids that we think we think this is what it needs to be, but like, let's get them involved so it can really be what's most meaningful for the kids who are in front of you at that moment.
I think too, as musicians, we like to be, the way we like performances to be perfect or whatever, but what really is, nothing is, right? And it's okay for these things to just go how they go, because I think the joy that that we find when we do it, like there was so much joy watching those little kindergartners do their performance, because I had so much pride in like all the learning that happened to go up to that. But I even had parents who saw that too, they're like, my kid was so into this, and so it's like you'll see it, no matter how it goes, you wish something was a little bit more practiced or whatever. I mean, in the end, is it the product or was it the whole process, And so, and the process is, I mean, anything that we learn is ups and downs all the time, right? And so it's not perfect, and that's okay, and that's how it should be. So you try it with third grade, and then you kind of learn, oh, I need to swoop in and do something for the next class. And now the next class, I think I need to step back a little bit and give them some more time to practice or take the lead,
It's so true. And I love it, Bradley. Bradley, that's a perfect way to get this book in the hands of music educators. Christmas is coming up. There's a lot of reasons to give out gifts, for appreciation. And I've found that like every Thursday, I've made a commitment this year from 2020 to 2021 that I want to like treat a teacher in some way. And so, I think that reminds me, maybe I should treat some music teachers in the next couple of weeks. I haven't done that one yet. I'm always trying to get creative of what I'm going to treat them with. Today it was Eileen's cookies. So Eileen's cookies, by the way, are just like the best cookies in Lawrence, Kansas, but just random, but not as good as Pass the Baton book. You definitely want that book. It's better than Eileen's cookies, if you can even imagine that.
Well, always think about your music teachers around winter concert time.
Yes, they need you. They need some love right now. It's a stressful time. Thanks, Kristen. It's a stressful time of the year for everyone, but especially those that are putting on those concerts and then the mask regulations. And I can't even imagine all the details on all of that stuff.
Like we're talking about this for concerts, but think of an art show. Right. How could the students have ownership in an art show? Like Katherine and I were even talking last night. We're like, could they do it for a science fair? Would that work? What do they do in a science fair? But I bet you the kids could take some ownership, even if it was just determining like, where to place the projects in the cafeteria.
Oh, sure. It would
What
make
are
sure
some ways?
any Title I math night, Title I reading night, let them be a part of those things. What
Yeah.
about I ran the drama club for our school. So
Oh,
drama club, and we put
cool.
on a winter performance and a spring spring performance. So that was another thing. Like I had to have the kids. There was me and one other teacher that ran that club, and it was all volunteered after school. Whew, interesting. But we were trying to increase reading scores. So it was like a great opportunity to teach them lines, little short lines, and it was elementary, 3rd through 5th. Whew. But so much fun. But having the kids be a part of that was very much what we had to. We didn't have a choice. We didn't have enough people. It's just like you guys with all those kids. I mean, you're making your load so much lighter when you involve them anyway, and they love it so much because they have a part of it. I mean, I know the kids would just get so excited when they had a part in blocking on stage. Like we are the ones who told Miss Martin that this group should be blocked over here. I'm like, they did, and it worked, and it was way better than what I had planned. And so, so exciting to involve the kids. Even if you're doing project-based learning projects in the classroom, I know we already have the kids taking ownership, but I think sometimes on that final delivery day or final presentation day, we have such strict regulations with those rubrics. Maybe letting the kids be a part of what that is actually going to look like, and maybe leaving some parts blank on that rubric so that they can have a piece of what theirs is going to look like and how it might look so different than others. Right. We had one blank column and one blank row actually. And that was one piece where they could decide like something unique about their presentation and what was proficient and what was not up to standard and what was like above standard. And so they got to write that piece of the rubric. And that was one piece that the kids always got to design during presentations. And I loved it because sometimes what they put in there was something I had never even thought of. So just another way to allow the kids to have a little bit ownership of their presentations, even in the classroom.
That's awesome. Awesome. And I think the one thing you just have to remember that it's okay at the beginning to not know what the end is going to look like. Like that's scary, but it's okay. And just embrace that and know that you're going to be there to help with whatever amount of scaffolding that they need, right? Just be there to watch. You're not, what do we say? We're going to throw you in the deep end. We're not going to let you drown. We're going to make sure that we help you along the way. But just, it's okay. So,
And I think those must-haves are the little crutch or whatever you need to say, okay, but I know we're going to show learning. I know, that the things that have to happen are going to happen. And what I don't know is just going to be the fun to see how it turns out. Right. But so it again, not knowing how it's exactly going to look is scary, but at the same time, you've built in a little safety net there too.
It's so true. And I think the more calm you are with the idea of the process of learning, going through, for example, we've had some major costume malfunctions in my drama club experiences, but we had weird things happen like that during rehearsals, so much so that I would just laugh it off and just play it off and we just like roll with it and go with it. And I think because they were just so used to that coming from me, and like, this is a part of the process. Like this happens, it's just, we're live. It's not like we're on a show where we can edit it out, and they would roll with it. They were just they got so comfortable in that type of culture that everything was a learning experience and everything was something that we were just it was going to be a part of the show. We're just going to keep going. And the kids start to catch on to that. They feel that. And I think when it comes to performance, even though it's not perfect, I was always excited when they rolled with the punches, no matter what came their way. Somebody heard their lines, the other people just piped up and we just continued on. And I was just so proud of them when they could do that because they had already built that in. Like, this is just a part of it. Like, we're not always going to get it perfect, and that's okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I just love this. I love talking. Yes, the show must go on. Keep going. I think the more calm I wasn't like, and I'm a perfectionist in every way, like if you know me, but definitely not in the classroom and for sure not elementary drama club, because let me just tell you, we were giving them a space to hang out after school, so they weren't getting into mischief. But yeah, it was awesome. We having the kids take some ownership is just so key, and I love some of the ideas you guys are putting over in the comments section too. And so if you're watching this on the playback and you're thinking, yeah, you know, I don't necessarily have a performance, but I have this Title I math night, I would love to see what the kids think about some of the stations that we're going to build in. What about guided reading stations? Like, what about some of the things that happen in your classroom every single day? Maybe some presentation style, maybe having a whole line of the rubric where they get to design that piece and they get to decide like what can be. There's so many ways to integrate this into what we do every single day, no matter what grade level you teach, but also no matter what subject area that you're in or trying to implement this. So I love this idea. So much fun. I love what I also love what Kristen had to say earlier. Kristen, I'm just shouting you out all over the place. A lot of people in this chat, and I just keep shouting out Kristen. Sorry, Kristen. This is bringing voice and choice up 10 octaves. And I love that she used octaves, play on words there. Yeah. I love it. Everything about this. So yes, if you're watching this on the playback, comment. You can possibly win a Pass the Baton book. You definitely want to do that. So friends, I know these folks are going to want to connect with you. And so why don't you share with them some social media contacts or your website? They also have a podcast. You have a lot of things going right now. Yeah. And they just had a book birthday. Their book is 6-year-old. Super exciting. Well, share with them how they can connect with you. I know we're running out of time.
Sure. So the website for the book is just passthebatonbook.com. So that's going to link you to pretty much everything. We started back in the spring a YouTube channel where we've been interviewing different music educators who are already doing things to pass the baton to their students. And then on the book birthday, which was on November 1st, we released a podcast. So all of those interviews from YouTube have been put onto all of your favorite podcast platforms so you can listen to them anywhere. And they're so inspiring. Oh my goodness. It's so much fun to talk to the educators and just to hear what they're doing and hear the great things happening in their classrooms. And then if you want to find Katherine and I on social media, I'm just at Musical Theresa on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm at Singing Finch 1 on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh no.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I should have been faster to type it in. I didn't think. Very good. But yeah, we would love to connect with anybody, music teachers. If you're a tech coach and you're like, I don't know what to do with my music teachers, come talk to us. We'll help you. Yeah. We love to talk to people about their music educators and all of that good stuff and how we can help you empower your music students even more. Oh, I think we lost our.
We can't hear you.
I said, oh, sorry about that. So one, I actually spelled out one. Sorry about that. Don't follow that one. I was saying I've been ghostwriting all day, and you don't just write the number one. You like spell it all out. So, here you go. We'll delete those in a moment. But Singing Finch 1 and Musical Theresa 1, yeah, definitely check out their podcast too. I really love hearing the interviews. It's been so fun. I've watched some of them on YouTube. Haven't listened to them on the podcast yet, but I'll have to check that out. Yeah. And yeah, the ladies are always putting out some great content over on their pages. So do check that out. But of course, if you know a music educator that would just benefit, I think oftentimes music educators just feel like professional development just doesn't meet what they want, what they're doing, what they need for their classroom. And this is just a perfect opportunity. This book also has a book study, has a lot of great stuff that goes with it. So if you're an administrator looking for something for your music teachers to get some solid professional development, this would be a great book study. And yeah, go check it out. It's awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
It's been amazing. And thank you all for joining us over in the comment section. Bradley, Kristen, and Noah, saw some other people, Ryan, Lisa, 2 Lisas. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And if you're watching this on the playback, please do Remember to put a comment over in the comment section. I will be randomly selecting someone to win this book. And even if you're not a music educator, you could gift it. That's a perfect opportunity. So bye, everyone. We'll see you next Thursday, same place, same time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.